My name is Allie Kirkman. I am the assistant news editor of the Daily News, and I have done a lot of work on covering the Counseling Center.
And you also did the story on the Counseling Center.
And this past semester, I also wrote a story about the Counseling Center no longer taking new patients.
Yes. So, if you want, you can just go ahead and explain a little bit more of, the issue was with the Counseling Center, and they weren't accepting any more patients for that semester.
Yep. Okay. So one of the biggest issues the Counseling Center here on campus has been facing for years, it's not something new, is they are understaffed compared to the student body that we have. And this last year, with an increase in incoming freshmen, it was just significantly worse because we have such a huge student population now. So basically what happened towards the end of last semester, in about the December time period, if I recall right, the Counseling Center made a statement that they were no longer taking new patients. So patients that they had already been seeing, they were still seeing, but just because they were understaffed and there were so many students trying to receive services for their small staff, they couldn't take any new patients. It's not that they didn't give them any resources though. The Counseling Center has the WellTrack app, which basically is just an app to track your mental health. They also offer a room for just like relaxation. So there's massage chairs, you can do like adult coloring. There's like heat lamps people can go and like sit in, and that kind of calms people down. It was just a huge issue, especially last semester, because when the statement was made and when I wrote the story, this was during a time period when seasonal depression is high, we're coming towards finals, so stress is very high. So students wanted services now, but they weren't able to sit down with a therapist immediately. They were either, one, not scheduled because they were new, or two, scheduled months out. But like I said, the Counseling Center did provide other resources for them, all the things here on campus, and they also recommended students to go to outside centers to receive services. Also, if a student was in a crisis, so if they were engaging in self-harm, if they needed they needed to talk to someone in case of an emergency, the Counseling Center did provide services for that.
Yeah, and like we talked earlier, so, one of the main issues was that they technically couldn't turn students away, correct?
Yes.
So they couldn't turn students away, but what was the problem with scheduling appointments for a later date?
Yeah, so like I said, this has been a problem not just like last semester, throughout the whole thing, because they're so understaffed and there is such a high demand for a therapist to take care of students' mental health. They couldn't have a student go into the center and say, hey, I want to talk to someone now, or I want to talk to someone this week. It just wasn't possible for the staff and the funding that they had. So students would be scheduled months out. And like I said, in severe cases, like they would help them immediately, but for some students, like being scheduled months out doesn't help them. It's not helping their mental health. It just makes them feel like just another number. I know the students that I talked to for my story really felt kind of disconnected because the Counseling Center was not able to meet with them immediately, not able to connect with them. But I will say this is not something that all students feel. The Counseling Center does provide great services, and there are students who go there regularly who are getting services that they need. And again, this isn't something individual to Ball State. This is something across all campuses, across the state, across the nation. There's just a lack of psychiatrists, and there's a lack of people who promote mental health.
You guys are good.
I'll wait, you're good.
I think I only had one question you made.
Okay.
And it was just more like what I was gonna ask you last, and it was like, most of this information that you receive is through Ellen Lucas,
Yes.
which is the the associate outreach director of psychology at the
Counseling
center. And
Yeah.
like you said, you pretty much got most of your information.
Yeah, so because I have been doing so much with the Counseling Center, my first person to go to is Dr. Lucas. She's very open to talking, and she just pretty much said like what I said. There was a huge student population, and because of the increase in the freshman size, that's really what led to them not being able to take new patients. But she provided me with a lot of great information. Like, I didn't know about the WellTrack program until she told me about it. She gave me great sources. So she's really open to helping the students, and I would say Ball State as a university really does want to help the students. It's just a problem when it comes to funding and staff, which is not the Counseling Center's fault.
Yeah,
So.
and it's great that you actually like talked to her and got that information and put it out to the student body, because not a lot of people are gonna know about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, that's good. That was great.
Cool.